Blue goes over a tenth of a second fast.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Formula Trout League. This is the Premier Series Challenger Split Round 10. We are here at Silverstone in the United Kingdom. Currently on provisional pole with 9 minutes remaining is Ivan Ayuso. P2 is Dmitry Kamishov, and P3 is currently Darian Shiklovan in P3 at the moment. He's on an outlap. I am Alex Cochran, joined by Case Wilhelms. Hello, Case.
Hello, Alex. Good to be back again.
Definitely. Now, today here at Silverstone, we have the exciting prospect that Darian Shiklovan will be able to win the championship here in round 10 of 12. His points on the rest of the field, the deficit the rest of the field have on his points total is enough that if he wins the race, the current P2 driver, which is Cyprian Stoyan, who is currently in P4 now, as he improves his time, he has to finish second to keep the championship alive if Shiklovan wins here at Silverstone. Kamishov is also with a very, very outside the championship. If he wins the next 3 rounds and Shiklovan somehow doesn't score any points, he would also win the championship. I don't think that's very likely to happen, unfortunately, for Dmitry, but you never know. Stranger things have happened, as we've seen in Formula 1 a few times in real life with, I think it was Raikkonen in 2007, came from a massive points deficit to win in the last, 3 rounds or so. And, yeah, don't rule anything out. Stranger things have happened. Currently, though, here at Silverstone is the DAC Racing sponsors Silverstone race today. I am the owner of DAC Racing, got to name drop my own team there. Darian is currently on a hot lap after an outlap coming into just the exit of the first sector now. We'll ride on board through here. Yeah, Case, I was going to mention, it's a tricky track, this one. I'm not sure how much you've driven so far in preparation for the Master Split race, but it's a high speed track with a lot of corners, so it's quite hard to get the balance of the car right.
I mean, generally it is known with this track that it's not as bad as Mugello in terms of tire wear, but it still definitely does not like your tires, so they will wear quickly. So I definitely expect most people here to do a 2-stop, maybe C3, C2, C3. Maybe they try C4 at the end, or maybe they go C3, C3, C4. But you will have to take the C3s for quite a long while, at least for my personal practice. They don't last that long, so it will be still interesting to see what the tire strategy will be. For those doing one-stoppers, you're very brave.
Yeah, it's a interesting point, definitely, because as you say, the tyre wear here, it's a high-speed track. It's very hard on the tyres. Those C3s, the C3, C2 strategy we've seen at almost every race this season, as Darian sets P2 just behind Ivan with a 27.5. Yeah, the tyres are really going to be a struggle here. You can try that 2-stop, as you say, and that will probably be the safe strategy, but will you be able to manage it? Will you be able to take those tyres for the entire distance? I doubt that you would be able to. To do the C3, C2 that we've seen before. And from personal experience, last time out at Hockenheim, I tried to run the C1 tyres, the hard C1 tyres, and they were real, not good tyres. They were slow. Yeah, they lasted, but you were just slower than 1 C3, so you just couldn't make any lap time up. But yeah, I think we'll be seeing the 2-stop, as you say, or maybe people trying to stretch that C3, C2 1-stop, but it'll be tricky for sure. So Ivan is entering the pit lane here. He has just finished his run. There is 5 minutes remaining qualifying as the camera goes through the car. Kamishov, meanwhile, I think he is on a lap. He's 7/10 down though. We'll follow him as he comes up to Maggots and Beckett. We'll try getting on board for a car starting a lap. We can follow through their lap. As I said, Silverstone is a very, very high-speed circuit. In these cars, these newer VRC Formula Alpha cars, more reliant on, no, he must be on an outlap, They're more reliant on the underbody downforce, so cars, similar high speed performance, but it's just delivered so much differently. The front wing works differently, the rear wing works differently. As Dimitri is starting a lap here, so we will ride on board with Dimitri. But yeah, as he exits the last corner here, you can see just maximum acceleration into this super fast first sector now at Silverstone, different to the old track layout, flat out through the now right-hander of Abbey. Traffic on the right avoids him into turn 3, brake at the curb on the left, turning into, just misses the apex a bit for Kamishov, but it's okay. Now get the car as far to the right, but you really need to tuck the car in for the left to get the best exit you can onto this straight. DRS is now open. This is now the second straight on the track. We didn't used to have a straight on the old layout of Silverstone back in 2010, but now you have turning left, braking at the marker on the right, misses the apex a little more as he comes through. I think this is Brooklands. I always get mixed up. A weird double apex corner and then maximum on the throttle into where the old start-finish straight was, and actually the start-finish straight that we used last season. Then arrives at the VRC Cops corner, usually flat in these new VRC cars, and Dimitri is flat through there, and then into Magnus and Beckett's left, right, flat through the left, right, maybe flat, no, downshift for the left, and then into Chapel, get the maximum acceleration you can down the hanger straight. Once again, DRS open, car bouncing around for Kamishov on the exit there. He's just up on his lap time. And he keep it together through Stowe, braking very, very late, going very, very deep on the power as early as you can, but don't run too wide into the final chicane. Brake at the curb on the right, clip the apex on the left, cut as much as it on the right as you can, and just don't lose the rear as you go through the exit. Get the fastest line you can. And what is the lap for Dimitri? It is an improvement, and an improvement to pole position, provisional pole position for Dmitry Kamishov on that lap, 1:27.2, ahead of teammate Ivan with a 1:27.251, so very, very close times between them. And Darian is not on track at the moment, so we'll have to see when he will go out. Roughly 1:30 lap, 2 minutes 40 to go. Still got time to go out, obviously, and you want to come out at the very latest as the track rubbers in. Stoyan in P5, he's on an in lap, he'll have one more run. Yeah, so Shikloven's just coming out the pit lane now for his final run. There was yellow flags for Ivan a little earlier while Kamishov was on his lap. He's got going again okay. I think he's about to be starting his lap, so he must have lost it. Maybe on the in lap, I don't know, but he's just starting his probably final lap unless he has to back out of this one. Ivan comes down the finish straight to start his last lap of qualifying. Lots of traffic coming out the pit lane now. Yes, so also, I forgot to mention, who's currently P4. I don't know how to pronounce your name, I'm afraid. Hasselar?
Need some help?
Yeah, you can give it a go, Case.
Yeah, at least I think they're Dutch. Emma Hasselaar. I checked the Premier Team and I can't find them there on the list, so I'm not sure. Is that the stream quality is a bit poor? I think that's the Trout car, or is that a GP Academy car?
It's the Trout car. It's the Trout car.
Oh, it's the Trout car. Okay, yeah, for me it's just all pixels. But yeah, so we got a new solo driver in Emma Hasselaar. Welcome to the league. Currently using the C5s in P4 though, so that's not too bad. Best lap 1:28.346. I think that is about 8 tenths off currently from Darian Siklovian. So I think it'll be interesting to see how he does.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good showing for a new driver. P4, in quali for a new driver. It's great to see. Hope he see if he can improve on his final lap. He's still got another lap to go, but here comes Darian on his lap. See how Hasselaar goes in the race. Hopefully he provides an interesting race. It's nice to always have people up there at the top. Well, as I said, I've
definitely noticed a bit. Yeah, I've definitely noticed a bit of a mix though between the C4 and C5s. Now I haven't tried the C5s yet, but I would guess they would eat up like really quickly. They're almost melt instantly at this track, especially at corners like Cops and Maggots and Beckett. So just to see quite a few people out, and clearly they are still proving their higher grip count more.
Yeah, those tyres are going to wear super fast, but in quali it doesn't really matter, and as long as you can manage the temps, they will be faster. Whilst you were saying that, Case, Ivan set a 1:26.9 to go on provisional pole. There's just 10 seconds left of qualifying now. Kamishov is in the pit lane, so P2 is the best Kamishov can do. We'll see what Shikloven can do as he comes up to Maggots and Beckett's flat through the first left and right, just as Kamishov was. through Chapel, maximise the exit, keeps it clean, keeps it within the track. On the DRS, he's up on his lap time. See if he can improve. Meanwhile, Hasselaar is also on a lap, I think. We'll see if he can maybe upset the front runners we've had all season. Keeps it clean through Stowe into the last corner. Flip the apex. Take as much as the next one you can. Power through the exit. Does not lose rear, neat and tidy through there. And pole position for Chikloven. Provisional pole position. There's still trials on track that could improve the time. 26.954 for Chikloven. A real great lap time. Just ahead of Ivan. A hundredth ahead of Ivan, that is. Stoian has finished his lap. Ivan has backed out of it. He's gone in the pit lane. So Ivan is over. Woodward is coming into the pits as well. I think Marino is still on a lap. P8 currently, 28.9, a lot of time. He's going to have to make up 2 seconds on his previous lap, but we'll see what he can do. Comes through Stowe now, and he's backing out. He's backed out of his lap, so back into the pit lane for Marino. Alessio Ficini set a 29.3 in the dying seconds there. Peters is still on a lap. No, Peters has finished his lap, so Darian Chikloven fighting for the championship. P1, what he needs. Stoian, who needs to finish second in the race. P4 on the second row, so ideal for Darian there. Real great lap time, 26.9 is rapid, and then Ivan is just behind him, of course, as well. Just 100th behind him. Very close lap times between those two. Amishov just 2/10 back again. Wasn't able to, well, I don't know if he made a mistake or he just mistimed it, but wasn't able to do a final run. Yeah, that is qualifying over, and pole sitter is the championship leader, and who may win the championship with this round. Just go through the top 10 as usual. We have Darian Chikloven on pole, Ivan Ayuso in P2, Dmitry Kamishov P3, Cyprian Stoian needs to finish P2 for the championship in P4, Hasselhaar in P5, Woodward P6, Kay in P7, Moreno in P8, Peters P9, Puccini in P10, Skamanis P11, Knowles P12, and Ignas Dotsies in P13. We will switch to the grid as the cars line up on the grid. We don't want to be watching the safety car. We want to be watching Darian on pole. The tyre choice will be interesting to see here. I imagine, as you said, Case, most of the guys are going to be maybe considering a two-stop due to the crazy tyre wear. So we may see some people start on the harder tyre and then have a crazy overtaking stint at the end of the race, but looks like a lot of them are on the yellow wall tyre at the moment.
Yeah, I see only one driver, Adam Woodward, currently on the C2 tyres. Except from that, everyone else on C3 tyres. So. It's quite a very, well, no, it's a very short run to the first corner here. A very high speed first corner. The sudden right-hand kink flat out in the race, but you know, at the start of qualifying, it's not so easy to do that because there's a lot of cars around you, and well, let's hope we don't see someone ending up upside down.
Yeah,
again,
I was gonna say, as real Formula One, there was the huge incident with Joe at the start of this round, start of this season. So hopefully we avoid something here. But on come the lights here at Silverstone. 6 red lights are illuminated. And away we go. Darian gets a good initial getaway. Can Ivan have a look? No, he can't. Darian through into the lead. Well, keeps the lead at turn 1. Rest of the field filters through very cleanly. And down the inside goes Kamishov into turn 1. Goes way too deep off the track. Ivan almost follows him 3 wide for P3, P2 and P4 there. Cyprian is pushed off and has to back out. Further down the field. Oh, we've got a car off there. It looks like Woodward, I think that is, into the barriers just at turn 4. Yeah, that was Woodward into the barriers. Kamishov in P2 after going off the track. We'll see how that stands. Ivan just behind him in P3 and James Kay in P4 with a great start there. Our rookie Hasselhaar is still in P5 after a good qualifying session, but Darian pulling that gap as we get to Copse Corner already. Not quite flat out in race trim, but most of the field seems to be going through. Cyprian looking very racy there after he's lost out at the start down in P9. Disaster, because he needs to finish P2 for the championship if Darian keeps that lead for the rest of the race. Still a long way to go though, 34 laps here at Silverstone. Looks like Ivan, oh, yeah. I was going to say he looked like he was, Kamishov let Ivan through, his teammate through there, but then it looked like Kamishov was going to go for the overtake once again, but no, I think Kamishov realised, I went off the track, and obviously teammates, you don't want to upset your teammate. He's let him through down the hangar straight. So Shkloven in the lead after lap 1. Ivan still P2, Kamishov P3, and James K up into P4. Stoyan in P8. You know, there comes Woodward after that initial lap 1 crash. He's in P13 now with quite the gap. He's going to have to catch up. There's racing further down the field. Stoyan is looking to make up those positions he's lost. Oh, as Skamanis loses the rear through turn 4 there. We'll stay on board with Cyprian. It looks like we'll flip back to Skamanis here. Yeah, Skamanis lost the rear through turn 4. He's going to drop behind Woodward here as well. So just a bit too much AstroTurf. We know how slippy the AstroTurf can be. We've seen so many cars lose it at other circuits here. Other circuits with that AstroTurf. And that is younger GPs, well, younger juniors, Skamanis down to the back of the field while his teammate is leading the race. Bit of a disaster for Skamanis there. Had to see, because he's a very experienced and talented driver. Further back we have, that was Knowles going for a move on Peters down the inside of Maggots there. Full committed for be able to make a move there, but you never know. Knowles might now be under pressure from Peters. He gets through and then Peters can just follow him through that first sector. Will he be able to repass him? Not yet. We do not have the DRS enabled yet, of course. Lap 3, so the next lap has... Knowles looked like he was slow on the exit there and almost came together with Peters. Peters reacted to it nicely. As the field filters through, Shkloven still in the lead. Fastest lap, personal best lap for Shkloven there, obviously on lap 2. Faster than Ivan, faster than Kamishov behind. Still within a second, and we do have the DRS enabled now. You can see the rear wing is not open. No, the rear wing is not opening. Okay. Ivan must have just been outside that 1 second through the DRS detection point. Kamishov, meanwhile, Ivan's teammate, did have the DRS, so able to catch up on his teammate there a little bit. But look, Shkloven must have made a mistake because just 6/10 now. It was around a second. Now it's dropped to 6/10. So it's not over for Shkloven yet. Not over for Ivan yet. She's still under pressure. Obviously only on lap 3. But it did look like Ivan pulling that 8/10 gap on lap 1. Did look like he would be able to extend that. No, these 3 cars are keeping him honest on the opening laps of the race.
So rather interestingly, I have to announce, I guess. I noticed that Emma Hasselaar may get a speeding through pit lane penalty at the end of this race. I see that he sped by about 18 kilometers an hour faster than you're allowed to during qualifying. As we see, Hasselaar actually goes side by side with Cyprian Stoyan through the turn I've forgotten the name of. But Hasselaar now ahead.
Cyprian goes back down the inside at the next chicane, makes the move stick. So great comeback for Stoyan there. As you said, Hasselaar got alongside him, went for the overtake, and then Stoyan comes back through. Sure, it's not over yet though. There's only a few tenths separating these drivers, but out in front, P1, P2, P3 separated by less than 2 seconds. See the 2 Griffin cars in the rear wing of the younger GP junior car there. Getting closer, getting further away. Obviously, it looks like they're running quite different setups as we've seen so many times this season. You know, one car has the high aero, one car has the low aero. They catch in the straights, and then they pull away in the corners. They close back up in the corners. Looks like Ivan might be running higher aero as Shkloven gets on the grass on the exit of Chapel there, playing with fire a little bit, as it can be so easy to lose the car over the bumps, as many drivers have done so often in practice. Further down the field, Stoyan, who just was fighting Hasselaar, is now actually looking up the road at Moreno, has the DRS coming down the hangar straight, looks to the inside for Stowe in front before he even gets to the braking zone, and I'm going to say that move is done. Moreno probably cannot come back at that. He's just dropped too far behind Stoian, so yeah, there's a move for Stoian back up to P5, but he needs that P2 for the championship where Chikloven is at the moment. Hasselhaar's looking at the back of Moreno as well. Obviously Moreno battling with Stoian, lost a bit of time. Hasselhaar showed his speed and he goes to the inside for turn 3. Still alongside through this clumsy little arena section, the village section, and well, around the outside onto the straight. But Moreno has the slipstream. Will he have the DRS? I think he does as well. Actually, Cyprian is just over the road, and Moreno looks to the inside and they touch. I've muted my microphone again. Apologies for that. I keep doing that, and I don't know what button does it. So I need to sort this because I've done this the last 2 rounds now. So apologies for that. Yeah, Kamishov just behind his teammate here. Not enough, well, not small enough of a gap to be able to make a move and get that position. 5/10 through Cops and through Maggots and Beckett's. The dirty air, not as strong as it used to be, but still something to be aware of. It can just make you lose that bit more time, and then the DRS down the hanger straight can let you close back up again. But you're not close enough through Maggots and Beckett's. It's not possible to make the overtake. Hasselhaar and Moreno, who are in the crash, in the collision between each two, both decided to pit then. 30 seconds to Skamanis now for Hasselhaar. Hopefully he can make the time back up. So unfortunate to see that incident because he was having such a strong showing, and it was only lap 5, but he was showing a lot of I want to say experience, but he's not experienced. It's his first race in Formula Trout, so he was having a great first showing here. Yeah, Kamishov just 100th faster than Ivan on that last lap, but showing he is within touching distance. He's keeping up with that DRS. Not close enough to be able to make a move unless Ivan makes a mistake on the exit here. No, unlikely not. Kind of the problem at a track like this, it's very high speed. Unless the driver in front makes a mistake, you just won't be able to get close enough to be able to make that overtake unless you have that tyre delta, which obviously only on lap 7 no driver is going to have. You can see Kamishov is following, but as he gets to the exit, the rear wing is just going to get smaller and smaller as Ivan as he pulls away, and then through Maggots and Beckett's, the dirty air is going to affect him too much, and he's just going to drop back again. Unless, obviously, Ivan makes a mistake. Further down the field, Ficini is just behind Peters in P7, P8, coming through the double apex right-hander here. Checks his mirrors to see the car behind. 2 seconds, don't have to worry too much, he's not going to have the DRS. Ficini might have the DRS on Peters, down to the next straight after they go through Maggots and Beckett's. As he runs wide through Cops there, you need to be careful doing that because that curb can catch you out, can spit you off into the wall at very high speed and end your race prematurely. Kamishov is actually closer to his teammate here, as is Ivan. Looks like Chikloven may have made a mistake there because Ivan is 1.1 seconds behind now. Or not, maybe didn't make a mistake, maybe Ivan's just turned it up a little bit. 128.8 there, fastest lap for Ivan so far. Chikloven meanwhile was 4/10 slower on that lap, so Ivan has started to push. Kamishov maybe just giving him the little hurry up. You can see him in his rear wing and it's making him just drive down the road a little faster. Not in the DRS for Ivan yet, compared to Chikloven, but Shiklovan will be aware of that gap coming down on that last lap, make him pressure him into another mistake, or just lose that time compared to Ivan, where he was setting a real good lap time last time out. Stoyan, meanwhile, in P5, he's actually caught up to the back of James Kay. Now it's 15 seconds to Kamishov now for Kay, but Stoyan is right on his rear wing. You can see the eyes, the anime eyes of some well-known anime character, I'm sure. Unfortunately, I don't know. The anime eyes on the rear wing of James Kay, staring down into Cyprian. Follows through Cops. You can see the dirty air affecting Stoyan there. Has to get out the throttle so early. Now it's 4/10 on the entry to Magnussen Beckett's, and that dirty air, he felt it through Cops. He's going to feel it through Magnussen Beckett's, through Chapel. Don't lose it on the bumps. Takes it easy. But now it's 5/10. He'll have the DRS to make up the drag reduction system to make the difference. He lost with that dirty air, but he's not close enough to make the overtake. I'm sure we will see it. Cyprian's caught up so fast on James Kay there. I'm sure we will see the overtake soon enough. Closes through the last few corners as well. Ooh, big snap for Cyprian. Keeps the car in one piece, but goes off the track a little bit. Loses the time he gained to Kay there. Bouncing through turn 1, turn 2. On the brakes for turn 3. Closes up to Kay once again. He's going to have the DRS, but after that wobble he had out the last corner, not going to be close enough to be able to make the overtake. Meanwhile, at the front, Kamishov has closed right back up to Ivan. Once again, he dropped back a little bit, but he's caught up within 4/10 with that DRS down that first straight. I can't remember the name of that first straight. I'm not sure if you can check that for me, Case. I think it's the Hamilton straight. I believe it was named after obviously Lewis Hamilton, but might be wrong there.
I've checked around actually. I can't find any info about it, but.
It might be the Hamilton straight, it might not be. That might even be a completely different track. But you can see Kamishov there lost more time to Ivan through Magnussen Beckett. Gets the time up with the DRS through down the hanger straight and then through Stowe. Ivan actually ran very, very wide there. Well, the stewards might be having a look at that. Ooh, as Kamishov loses the rear, just as Stoyan did. Both drivers.
I believe we're coming up the Hamilton straight north now, from what I can see.
Ah. Yeah, I think it was called that, but I might be wrong. I don't keep up with the corner names too much, I'm afraid. When they change, I still refer to No Name at Spa as No Name, even though it is now called Jackie X. Stoyan,
could also be it could also be the name of a grandstand. I'm really not sure at this point.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure myself. I can't really help any further than I think it's called the Hamilton Straight. Yes, meanwhile Stoyan had lost a lot of time to Kay. He was within 3/10 a few laps ago. He dropped back to more than a second. I wonder if just he lost the rear again on to lap 10 on these C3 tyres. You're going to start feeling that wear. As you said, Case, this track is very, very hard on the tyres. It could be a two-stop for a lot of drivers. Lap 10, you get third of the way, third distance. You're going to start feeling the wear already. I think you said Woodward was the only driver on different tyres, but he's in P11 now, so that's really not worked out for him at all. This K in front runs a little wide through Cops, the eyes staring into Stoyan's soul once again as he comes into Magnussen Beckett. Gets to Chapel. Oh, as K ran a little wide. Stoyan will have the DRS this time. Sure, K is going to go defensive, but will he be able to defend from this straight line advantage that the DRS gives you? No, Stoyan is through, arrives into Stowe, and is in front of K. A great overtake there for Cyprian Stoyan up into P4. Gonna need to gain a lot more time to get back into P2, which is what he needs to keep the championship alive. Kamishov, meanwhile, was running P3 right behind his teammate, has decided to pit. Stops in his pit box. What tyres will he go on to? I wonder if he is doing the 2-stop, because this is quite an early pit stop if he is doing the 1-stop. On to C2s, I think they are. So hard to say what he's going to be doing. Maybe a push stint on those C2s, and then a push stint at the end on C3s, or he's going to try baby the tyres. But what he didn't want, he's dropped right behind, tucked in right behind Peters there, and he's going to have to overtake him on track. He's going to lose time to Ivan, to Shiklovan, to get past this slower car that is yet to pit.
We're just going to have the ice staring down him as well now.
Sorry, say again.
Even worse, he's gonna get the ice staring him down now as well.
Sorry, I'm just I'm just looking at the gaps here, and yeah, it looks like K is actually keeping up with Stoyan, which I didn't expect to see. Stoyan obviously came past on that previous lap after catching, and K is keeping Stoyan honest. I thought Stoyan would start to just drive away after clearing K, but K's going to get the DRS here. He's going to close up, not close enough to make an overtake, but he does definitely close up. Meanwhile, Ivan and Shkloven at the front, they've both not reacted to Kamishov. So Kamishov, he's stuck behind Peters. There's Stoyan pits. Stoyan pits maybe reacting to Kamishov himself, although he has a very, very big amount of time he's going to need to keep up. The gap was around 10 seconds, I believe, before the pit stops. Yes, Shkloven and Ivan both haven't reacted to the pit stops. Ooh, as Kamishov's looking at overtaking Peters round the outside of the first part of the chicane. Leaves space for Peters there, side by side, through the last corner. Very, very sketchy stuff, and I think Kamishov's going to have that move done here. The tyre advantage clearly working out as he comes out the pit lane, bouncing through Abbey. Yeah, back into P5, clears the slower traffic who is yet to pit, and that will allow him to push those C2s now and try to close the gap to Ivan. He's clearly going for the undercut. Ivan didn't pit, didn't decide that he needed to cover him off, and that may turn out to be the wrong strategy, although obviously Kamishov did lose time in having to clear Peters, who was yet to pit. There's yellow flags out for Moreno there. I think he just lost the rear through Chapel. He's going again now with a 23-second gap to Hasselaar in P12. Not looking too good for him right now, but never say it's over. There's only 13 cars on track as Ivan pits now. So Ivan comes into the pits, goes 2 laps longer than Kamishov at lap 13 out of 34. So he's going to be on the C2 tyres as well, but where will he come out in relation to Kamishov? Kamishov's just coming down the hangar straight here, and I feel like Ivan's going to come out far in front because he's already in his pit box. Yeah, so I wonder if Kamishov had some damage to repair, because Ivan's coming out the pit lane here in P2. Kay and Knowles are both also pitted, and Kamishov is just coming out the last corner. So Kamishov, who was less than a second behind his teammate, is now a lot further behind. We'll wait for the splits to update. Yeah, 10 seconds behind Ivan. He's lost 10 seconds to his teammate in those pit stops. I don't know if there's something I missed. I don't know if he was caught into an incident, maybe. I don't know if you saw anything on the timing case, but 10 seconds he's
Nothing
lost.
interesting I noticed.
Yeah, I was wondering if maybe Kamishov lost the car, on his in-lap, and we just didn't catch it. But no, he's just lost 10 seconds, seemingly out of thin air. I know he was behind Peters, I think it was, but you wouldn't expect him to lose that much. Meanwhile, Ficini is side by side with Skamanis here, coming into Cops. Skamanis is passed before he even gets to Cops. Good exit, allowed Skamanis to get in front. Maybe Ficini's going to be playing that DRS game. Shkloven up in front is still yet to pit, goes for another lap. 30.7 for Shkloven. Ivan's obviously on his out lap, but the next lap will be able to tell what his lap times are like, or maybe you'll be able to see the split times for Sector 2, Sector 3 for Ivan, and see if he is significantly faster than Shkloven. The undercut will work out. So obviously 48.4 for Ivan that time round. This is his out lap. This is the lap we want to watch. Now Shkloven, surely he's going to have to react to Ivan. He was only around 2 seconds behind, and Ivan on those C2 tyres is going to be pushing hard now to make that undercut work. A lot of the field is in the pit lane now. Busy down the pit lane. 3-4 cars there as the field sorts itself out. I'm going to have to kind of see who is in what position here. It's hard to tell who has pitted and who hasn't. I know Woodward is yet to pit, and he's on those harder tyres after making that mistake on lap 1, or getting taken off lap 1. Not sure what happened, but he's in P4 at the moment, which is, quite good. He's going to be a bit of a hassle to some of the cars that are going to have to clear him, because he's going to be much slower, but it's so hard to overtake here. So yeah, Shkloven into the pit lane now. Lap 14 out of 34, reacts to Ivan, goes similar to what Ivan did to Kamishov. He goes 2 laps further. 27.7 is the gap. Ivan will... I've just dropped my mouse. Oh, I muted myself again. I'm so sorry. I must have done it when I dropped my mouse. I don't even know if you heard me saying that. But Ivan completes the undercut on Shikloven there. I'm going to completely wipe my keybinds now, so I stop doing that. Ivan completes the undercut on Shikloven. Griffin Red pit wall will be very happy with that one. 1.5 seconds to Ivan for Shikloven. He's going to have to catch up that 0.5 seconds to get back within the DRS and then get the overtake done on track if they're going to the end. Unless it's a two-stop where the rules might be reversed and Shikloven might be able to complete the undercut on Ivan that time around. We will see. Kamishov, meanwhile, who, you know, was in the race for P1, was P3, just the second behind his teammate. He's now 8 seconds behind Shikloven. He's caught a little bit. It's not enough. It's a shame to see because that looked like we did have a 3-horse race, but now it's turned into a bit of a 2-horse race. I'm just going to wipe my keybinds yet again. I don't know what keybind does it, but it's not a very useful one, that's for sure. Okay, the keybind is now gone. I will not accidentally mute myself anymore. I'm very, very sorry for that. But Kamishov actually caught that lap again, now 7.8. It was 8 point something the lap before, so Kamishov has great pace. Maybe he did have damage, maybe he fixed the damage and just dropped back due to that. It's a shame to see because, you know, you always want to have the race between more than just 2 cars. But at least we do have a race going on right now. Further down the field, Woodward, Skamanis and Ficini are just swapping positions there. I think Woodward has pitted once again, or has pitted finally after starting the race on the harder tyres. He's in the points after an incident on lap 1, so probably be happy with that. Unfortunately, the rookie that was doing oh so well at the start of the race came together with Marino, had to make an early pit stop. He is still in last position, 18 seconds to the next car, which is a shame to see. He did have great pace, did put on a great showing until Moreno. I'm going to put the blame, as Spanish runs wide there. I'm going to put the blame on Moreno. Sorry if the stewards say otherwise, but it did look like Moreno just locked up a little and just speared into the side pod of Hasselard, put him out of contention for a good result, unfortunately. But Ivan in P1, 1.1 seconds to Shikloven. He's doing a good job right now in that Griffin Red car. Half distance here. Just switch to the tyres. Yeah, so it looks like Woodward is doing the 2-stop. He is on the C3 tyres, so he must have pitted from around P4, I think he was running. He's pitted onto the C3, and he's going to have to do the 2-stop. No way you can take the tyres that long. Skamanis, Ficini, Knowles and Stoyan are all on the C3 as well. I think, yeah, so Ficini and Knowles are yet to pit, but Stoyan in P4, he's on the C3s again, so he's going to be setting very, very fast lap times, but he's going to have to pit again. He's going to have to go on the C2s, or maybe even the C4s if he's running some kind of real aggressive strategy, because you have to run 2 different compounds, obviously. You can't do C3, C3, C3. You need to do C3, C3, C2, or C4. And yeah, Stonian's going to have to go on those harder tyres, or the softer tyres at one point, see what works out for him. But Peters is right on the gearbox of Ficini as they go into Maggotts and Beckett. We've seen before, it's so hard to follow through here. Peters bouncing his way through Maggotts and Beckett to the exit of Chapel, short shifting just to keep the car calmed down. Quite a wise move, especially when you're bouncing with the porpoising like he was on the entry. DRS on Ficini, won't be close enough to make the overtake, but close enough to maybe have a look into the last corner, and he just runs a bit wide. Dirty Air catching another driver out, misses the apex into Stowe, and yeah, is not able to capitalise on that DRS assistance he had the straight before, as he loses the rear through the last corner as well. Kamishov is the time's still coming down for Kamishov. 7.5 now. It's not coming down enough, but if Ivan or Shkloven makes a mistake, we could see him back in the hunt for the lead. Or if they are doing a two-stop and maybe Kamishov isn't doing the two-stop, we'll be able to make that time back up. Still a long way to go, just over half distance. And it's not over, but here's Skamanis coming down what we think is the Hamilton straight. The eyes of Peters staring down into Skamanis this time, down the inside, through the left-hander into the double right. Well, some can take it as a double right apex, some can take it as a single late apex, as Skamanis does that time round, and he is past Leslie Peters there. Woodward, meanwhile, is right behind Peters as well. Skamanis made the overtake. Can Woodward make the overtake? He's on the fast C3 tyres. He's clearly going for a two-stop, the aggressive strategy. He's going to be following Peters through Maggotts and Beckett. We'll see again how much the dirty air affects us. Hasselhaar is out of the race, such a shame. He started so strongly, got in the collision with Moreno, and his race is now over on lap 19 out of 34. Very, very sad to see for the rookie to not be finishing his first race, but he did a very strong showing in qualifying, strong showing at the start of the race, and at least he can, you know, it wasn't his fault that put him out of the race, didn't put him out of contention. Was Peters just in front of Woodward here, goes a little deep through the last corner. Woodward with the better exit with those C3 tyres. Can he keep up through Abbey? Looks like Peters might be deploying more of his battery because he's pulling away on the exit there. But then Woodward in the braking zone will close up. Avoid the curb, doesn't avoid the curb. Big bounce for Woodward, big shock through the steering wheel, big jolt as he hits the giant sausage curb on the entry of turn 3. Just loses you to the time. If you want to take it as close to the sausage curb as possible, but if you hit that, it's going to just throw your car, unsettle the car, and yeah, just lose you a lot of time. But he closes right back up to Woodward, to Peters with the DRS, leaning on the tyres, leaning on those C3 tyres through Brooklands, and then on the run down to Copse, right behind Peters. Peters' battery recharging there, so clearly just doesn't have the battery to be able to attack him. Woodward down the inside through Copse. Very, very brave move, able to make it stick. But will Peters now be able to come back at him? He was saving the battery on the run down into Copse. Maybe just saving the battery so he can get the DRS assistance on Woodward and repass it. There's a big puff of smoke there as it looks like Skamanis. I think that was Skamanis. Yeah, Skamanis lost the car through Chapel. Peters looks to the outside of Woodward. Woodward defends the inside and holds on, but Skamanis on the exit of Chapel. He's going again now. Didn't lose too much time. Looked like a 360 spin we've seen before. So many cars are taking it so easy through Chapel because the bumps are just so bad. You feel it through the wheel, you feel it in your eyes, the views bouncing all over. Yeah, caught Skamanis that time and spun him around 360 degrees. He's continuing on again in P10, not out of the points yet. But yeah, he's having to lift through Abbey. I feel like he has some damage on that car and will have to make an early pit stop. Well, another pit stop to repair the damage. The race is not over yet for him. He's still in the points. 22 seconds to Ignas Doxy's behind. So the race for the points is still on for him. But meanwhile, Ivan in P1, 30 dead for him. 30.1 for Shkloven. So close between these two. Very, very evenly matched pair. It's a shame that the championship is kind of so one-sided for Shkloven. Obviously, he's made nearly every race this season. Ivan has only made, I think, 3 or 4 rounds now, and yeah, the championship is not possible for Ivan because the points deficit is just too high to Shkloven. But they're putting on a great race here today. Shikloven is fighting for that championship. Shikloven's currently running P2. As the lap traffic is just holding up Shikloven there. Shikloven is running P2. Stoyan is running P4. Stoyan needs to finish second if Shikloven wins. I'm not sure what the points are like here. I don't know if you can tell us, Case, because I think he needs to outscore him enough, so it's a 52 points difference between those two, and I don't actually know what it's going to be at the moment.
Yeah, if they finish as it stands right now, Cyprian would be short 50 points, which would still mean he is in the championship, at least as it currently stands.
So Shikloven needs to win the race if Stoyan holds his position, if Stoyan doesn't lose any more positions. Shikloven would need to win to be champion, but Ivan, 1.7 second gap there, doing a pretty good job so far. If he keeps this up, doesn't make any mistakes, could deny that championship win for Shikloven, keep it going for another round into Brazil. Yet to see though, still a long way to go, 12 laps remaining. Once again, Ivan was not second a lap, that would be a lot, wouldn't it? A tenth a lap faster that time, so Ivan does have great pace. Kamishov, meanwhile, pitted 2 laps earlier than Ivan, 4 laps earlier than Shikloven, 30.7 for him, 7/10 slower unfortunately, so that time he was making up has dropped off now. He's probably, I imagine he's going to be trying the 2-stop maybe, going to go on the C3s or maybe even the C4s at the end of the race, just to set fastest lap, because yeah, that 9-second gap looks pretty insurmountable for Kamishov now. It's never over. Could make a mistake. Never know. So, yeah, the field has kind of spread out just a little bit here. 1.2 seconds, the closest gap on track is Shikloven and Ivan. And actually, it does look like Ivan is just dropped. Well, just lost a little time through Maggots and Beckett. Shikloven was just dropped below the second there and has the DRS. So Shikloven managed to just get the DRS detection point to be within a second and has DRS down the hanger straight. That's going to really, really help out with Shikloven. Anytime he's losing, he's going to stop losing that now and get dragged along by Ivan. As he locks the rear into the last chicane. That time he makes up. He has lost due to that little error, a little too much curb. Just snag the rear brake, and yeah, that time that he made up, he has lost, unfortunately, for Shikloven. They have to get within that DRS yet again. 1.4 as they come into turn 3. He's not going to have DRS now after that wobble on the entry of the last corner. He's going to have to gain that time to get back within that DRS, have another chance at overtaking Ivan for P1. Cameras are all behind the fence here, which isn't very good. See the huge gap behind Ivan and Shikloven, 10 seconds to Kamishov as he just comes into frame here. And who's that going off at the back? I think is that Ignis Doxies? Yeah, that's Ignis. Just lost the rear there on I can't remember the name of the corner unfortunately, but I know that's where Sebastian Vettel in Formula 1 this year, he lost the rear through exactly the same corner. Just, you know, it's easy to spin up, you're accelerating whilst turning, the exit tightens up and you can just lose the car through there, as Ignis just did. Manages to keep it going, doesn't lose too much time, and Skamanis, who was running P10, he made the mistake at Chapel earlier on. He's going to have a clear run, he's coming into the pits here, 36 seconds gap to the car behind. Should be keeping that P10, keeping in those points, which I'm sure he will be encouraged, can allow him to push that little more. Yet again, the time's so close between those top two. There's nothing between them. Well, there's 1.5 seconds between them, but between their lap times, there's nothing between them. And yeah, that 1.5 seconds is pretty constant now, ever since their pit stops 10 laps ago. Oh, I said Skamanis would be safe to Ignis, but no, he's not. He must have had damage to repair, because he is now dropped behind that 30-second gap. It's now a 5-second gap to the car in front for him. He's going to have to run those C2 tyres to the end of the race. I'm sure he's going to be pushing every lap of the way to get back into those points positions that Carlos will ever so much want. Yeah, 5.7 seconds there. Oh, Shikloven runs very, very wide at Cops. stewards might have something to say about that. We've seen a few drivers doing that. You know, when they're running with other cars, Chikloven just, maybe the car was a little loose and he just had to run wide. He didn't really gain anything, but if he's doing that every lap, you know, they might start to just make some notes. Into Stowe early on the power as usual. Those C2 tyres still hanging on. Around 10 laps they've done now, and they've got another 10 to go. They should be able to do it. I think it is a one stop for both drivers now. Chikloven has that 2-lap tyre advantage, and I think I'm going to say I have tried to extend, as he said. Chikloven's 3/10 faster that lap on Ivan there. I've done C2 stints a lot of races this season. They have a cliff, and that cliff really hurts you. If you're not ready for it, you can lose, you know, maybe 2-3 seconds a lap, just losing the rear through the high-speed corners, losing it on the acceleration zones. And yeah, Ivan pitting those 2 laps earlier to make that undercut work, he might start to struggle at the end of the race, as actually Chikloven has started to push a little bit here, catching right back up to Ivan. He was 3/10 faster the lap before, and he was clearly the faster car through the first part of those previous set of corners, but now he's dropped back on the exit. Through, ooh, as he loses the rear, 360 spin for Darian. Oh, I thought he was going to be in the wall there. So the lap before, we saw him going wide. This lap, we saw him spinning 360 degrees. He's pushing those tyres so hard, they'll be so hot. Loses the rear through Copse. I think I said Stowe. He loses the rear through Copse, through that flat-out right-hander. And yeah, that has dropped him 3.5 seconds behind. I said Ivan was on the softer, the older tyres. Chikloven, with that 360 spin, he's definitely maybe not on the older tyres, but he's pushing them a little more, and that has lost him 2.5 seconds to Ivan. That really might make him struggle to be able to fight for that win. We'll see. 30.3 lap for Ivan, 32.6. So it's a bit of a miracle for Chikloven there to not lose more time. That 360 spin, if he went the other way, that would have been a huge 300 kilometers an hour crash into the wall. That would have been race over for him, but he's managed to keep it going. 3.3 seconds to Ivan in front, but those tyres are going to be hot. That 360 spin will have warmed them. They'll be hot. He's going to have to take it easy. And obviously, a thing that people don't talk about so often, in the back of his mind now, he's going to come up to Copse and just be like, I went wide the lap before. I spun the lap before. I'm just going to have to take it a little easier. And you have to do that, and you're just going to lose the time. He was roughly matching Ivan, but if he's backing off through Stowe now, through Copse now, and Ivan's not, that's going to be 2-3 tenths he's losing there. You can just see him dropping down the gear. Keeps it tidy that lap, keeps it okay, but yeah, it's going to be risky stuff for the next 8 or so laps for Chikloven if he stays on these tyres. Kamishov behind, meanwhile, he just pitted whilst Chikloven was having his moment, and he's pitted on the C4 tyres, I think they are, so very aggressive strategy for Kamishov there. 35 seconds to make up on Chikloven. I don't really think that's likely unless he makes another error. Don't rule it out, because that was quite a unexpected error for sure for Chikloven, so we could see another one of a similar thing as Kamishov bounces over the curbs through Copse there. Doesn't spin as Chikloven did, and wow, Chikloven actually sets a fastest lap of the race there. So I said in the back of his mind, you know, oh, I'd maybe take it a little easy. Clearly not. 29.7 for Chikloven. He's still pushing. Still reducing that gap to Ivan. He's really going to need to reduce that gap, because that's a 3-second gap to Ivan, where it was just 1.5 seconds before. But Ivan has a little bit of breathing room here. You can see as they come through that double apex corner, although both drivers are taking it as a single apex. Maybe I'll have to change my approach to it. Chikloven just losing the time he gained. So yeah, the strategy for Griffin here really paying off. That track position is so important, obviously. Chikloven, the car just looks loose through Copse there. Doesn't look stable at all, those tyres. 7 laps to remaining. Oh, as he has a wobble through Magnus and Beckett's there. The timing does show that Chikloven has passed Ivan. That is incorrect. Ivan is still in front. Ignore that. There we go. It has fixed itself now. Chikloven goes through Stowe into the final chicane. Keeps it neat and tidy, cuts the inside. See what the lap time is this time. It was a fastest lap last time. 30.1 for Ivan, 30 dead for Shikloven. So around similar times again. He's going to be after catching him a bit faster than that to want to challenge for that win, want to make that overtake for P1. Few drivers further down the field are pitting. Not sure what tyres going on to, but yeah, that 2-stop that you said, Case. Clearly a lot of drivers are choosing that as their preferred strategy here. And tidy again for Shikloven through cops. I just keep watching Shikloven, keep watching that younger GP car just sliding around through that high-speed corner. You know, 300 kilometers an hour, very, very fast. The car, the downforce is working maximum that you're going to get through there, but the car is still sliding. Those C2 tyres, 14 or so laps old, are not too happy. Maybe they're just a bit hot and he's struggling on them. Oh, big snap. Oh. Shikloven, he just keeps it out the barrier. Sorry, didn't know what to say there. Shikloven, I said the tyres were hot, said they were wearing. He lost it through cops. He loses it through the last corner. Wobbled one way, wobbled the other. Thought he'd corrected it, and then ping, off he goes into the gravel trap. Able to keep going, avoids the wall, but that gap to Ivan, 9.7, 9.8 seconds now. So Shikloven lost the place during the pit stops, was following so closely, had the tyre advantage the 2 laps longer, and he's just can't keep it on the road. Those C2 tyres, he must just be pushing them that hard to try and keep it with Ivan, and he's just lost the rear twice now in around 4 laps or so, and that gap from 1.5 to 3 now to 10. So unless Ivan makes a mistake, Ivan will be feeling pretty confident now, I am sure, about taking, I believe, his first win in Formula Trout.
Yeah, looks like it. He's gone third, second, and if he would win first this time. Also, hello, I'm back again. My microphone is continuing to annoy me every single stream.
Good to have you back. I wondered, yeah, I asked you a question earlier and you didn't reply, so I wondered what happened. As you say, Ivan, you know, P3, P2, make it a third, make it P1 this time. Clearly improving. He's clearly a fast driver. Maybe gunning for that master split next season. He's here in Griffin Red. He's done a great job so far and really helping the team out with that points. Obviously, that's a thing to mention as well. Griffin Red and Younger Junior are fighting for the championship, for the team's championship, and yeah, we want Shikloven. Well, Shikloven looks like he's going to be winning the drivers' championship, but the championship that matters to the teams, that's the one that gets them the master split seat next season. So if Griffin Red's the one that wins, they're going to be the team going up to master split. Ivan, Kamishov, maybe Columba as well, he would be the one going into the master split as part of Griffin Red if they can take the championship. P1 and P3 for Griffin Red, P2 and P10 for Younger Junior, so it's looking good for Griffin Red. They can't win the championship this round because obviously there's a lot more points to up for grabs every round. I think it's 43 points, I believe, you can get for the team's championship, opposed to just 26 for the drivers. But so obviously the deficit has to be much, much higher. But Griffin Red is really going to extend the lead they already have here at Silverstone. 4 laps remaining, 8.8 seconds to Shikloven for Ivan. Shikloven is actually closing in on Ivan there, so there's those 2 spins. He's still pushing very, very hard. Maybe Ivan's taking it a bit easy. Doesn't want to make a mistake as Shikloven did. He's got the time in hand now to just back off a little bit. Manage the race, manage the gap from the front. Now I wonder if Kamishov's maybe kicking himself a little bit. He made that extra pit stop, that pit stop onto C4s for fastest lap. If he didn't pit, he'd be on. Oh, Shikloven loses the rear again. Looking at how Ivan's tyres are hanging on, if Kamishov stayed on track, he might be in front of Shikloven now after that incident. So maybe he's just kicking himself a little bit. But then again, you know, maybe Kamishov would be in the wall himself. So I'm sure he,
yeah, I was going to say,
hindsight.
yeah. Back on. Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, it was another little bit of oversteer there. I was gonna say, you said he maybe might be kicking himself a bit for that pit stop, but you know, if he continues to try to push whatever's life left in those C4s, for all I know, if Darren does indeed make another mistake, I think Kamishov might still make a chance of P2 here. Now, I'm not too sure, it might not happen, but I'm not trying to jinx it as well, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point, you know, as I said, Chikloven made 2 quite major mistakes and quite luckily didn't really lose too much because of them, but they were very, very high-speed incidents, avoided the barrier of both of them. If he was into the wall, Kamishov, yeah, it's a 23-second gap, but if he spins again, if he hits the wall this time, they say third time lucky, but maybe third time unlucky, third time lucky for the wall maybe, he would lose that time, and Kamishov could have that P2 up for grabs, and that would make it a Griffin 1-2, which would be disastrous for the championship, the team championship fight. Ivan out in front, starting lap 32 out of 34. Looks pretty safe, 31.5, so I think he is taking it just a bit easier. No need to push with that gap he has to Chikloven. Ooh, as he has a wobble into the entry of turn 3 it is there. Chikloven, ooh, as he runs wide himself, so both drivers are struggling with the tyres. Chikloven's pushing to try catch up to Ivan, and Ivan's just taking it easy. He does not need to push. And Kamishov behind, 29.8, so he'll know C4 tyres. He's definitely pushing, but that 22-second gap or so doesn't look like he's going to be able to... I doubt he's going to catch 10 seconds a lap unless Chikloven does make that error that we spoke of. So further down the field, the gaps are quite large now through most of the field. I think the closest gap on track, amazingly, is Woodward and Vicini, 6.4 seconds. Woodward has recovered quite nicely. Obviously, he was last lap 1 after that mistake, after the collision he had with the barriers. And with the alternate strategy, it seems to be paying off. 2 laps remaining. He's not going to have to pit again. 6.3 seconds to Vicini in front, but then 18.6 seconds to Skamanis behind. So P9 is definitely a good recovery there for Woodward, for the Bag Academy driver. It's a shame to see him in the incident. I think we've seen him a few times this season. He starts on the alternate strategy and then just, through no fault of his own, just gets caught up in incidents, drops further back, and yeah, puts him in positions that he maybe shouldn't be. But P9 is, you know, a good recovery after that lap 1 incident. Same for Skamanis. He made that mistake himself just out of turn 4 where Ivan is about to arrive at, and yeah, he's back in the points now. Marino P11 and Ignis Dortzy's P12 outside of the points. We've lost, I think we've lost 2 cars here. Maybe we're just the 1 car actually, isn't it? It's
Yeah, we've only lost Hassler so far, so...
Yeah, I forgot we had a few did not starts, unfortunately. Yeah, I will say, if anyone wants to get involved, obviously 12 cars on track, 14 cars at the start of the race. It's a pretty healthy grid we have here in Challenger Split, but there's definitely always space for more. I think we can have up to 28 cars starting here in the Challenger Split. So if anyone wants to join, wants to race alongside Ivan here, wants to race alongside Darren Chikloven, the championship leader, feel free. Maybe you could be the one fighting for the championship, fighting for race wins next season, at the end of this season. We're always open. You can join mid-season, click the link in the description, join our Discord server, and just say hello in general chat, say hello in Premier Series chat, and you know, we'll sort you out. The admins are a very friendly bunch, the community's a very friendly bunch, and yeah, we'll be glad to see you here on track. But here comes Ivan through the final corner on the penultimate lap, about to start the final lap of the race. Chikloven is bringing that gap down. It's just 5 seconds now, but all Ivan needs to do is keep it on the track, keep it on the black stuff for 1 more lap, and I'm sure he will. He goes very, very carefully, lifts through Abby, does not need to push whatsoever. Oh, no. Why did I say that? Ivan spins in turn 3. Chikloven through into the lead. This is massive for the championship. Chikloven into P1. Ivan loses P1 after holding it for so long with the strategy. This means Chikloven, P1, Stoyan in P4. He's going to take the championship if he can keep it on track. I said all Ivan needed to do was keep it on track, and he wasn't able to. Just as I say it, into turn 3, locks the rear, spins the car around, drops him to P2. Shkloven, meanwhile, he was dropped back after those 2 spins, kept it out of the wall. He's now coming to Copse where he saw him make the mistake before, but 3.8 seconds. Ivan will not be able to catch up there unless Shkloven makes another mistake himself. I'm sure Shkloven will be taking it very gingerly through Mackett and Beckett's here. Doesn't need to push. You can see him so slow, doesn't want to lose the car. Stoyan P4, Shkloven in P1. He's going to take the championship here in dramatic fashion after Ivan loses it on the last lap of the race. Turn 3 on the final lap. Shkloven comes up to the final set of corners. Keep it tidy, keep it clean, no need to push. 5.7 seconds for Ivan, so he must have made another mistake. Maybe the tyres have just gone. Shkloven crosses the finish line. He is the Challenger Split champion here in Formula Trout League's Challenger Split. A huge high-speed donut to celebrate. Ivan, heartbreak for the Griffin Red driver. So close to taking his first win in Formula Trout League. Kamishov will finish in P3. Lost a lot of time in the pit stops, and Stoyan P2 in the championship, but P4 on track. That's not enough to keep the championship alive, and as such, Shkloven is the Formula Trout Challenger Split Season 10 champion. He's done a pretty great job all season long, and as I said, in such dramatic fashion, Ivan loses it on the last lap. He will be heartbroken. You know, he wasn't fighting for the championship, but he was fighting for his first win in Formula Trout League. Such a shame for him, but absolute celebration for Shkloven. Donuts here on the exit of turn 1. He is the new Challenger Split champion. Hopefully we get him around for an interview. I would love to hear. I don't even know if he knows his championship, if he's won the championship himself. You can see a Stoyan pulling up alongside there, maybe in a bit of a celebration for Shkloven. Stoyan, you know, he's been champion before. He knows how it feels to win the championship. Shkloven, rookie season, first time out, and yeah, wins the championship in dramatic fashion. And yeah, he is waiting here for an interview, so we will drag him in right now. Darian, congratulations on that win in absolute unexpected fashion. Ivan lost the rear into turn 3, and as a result, you finish P1, Stoyan down in P4. You are the Challenger Split champion in Season 10. Well done.
Thank you. Okay, I'm not one to do those things, okay? I want to tell you something. I was for sure, like, 100%, I was gonna finish second. But, how do you say it? I made a cross. And somehow, next lap,
Yeah.
I'm back in first. I'm so happy. Like, I was gonna be happy with second as well, don't get me wrong, but
Honestly, we can't believe it ourselves. We were watching Ivan coming through turn 1. I was saying, oh, he doesn't need to push. He has a 5-second gap. All he needs to do is take it easy. Commentators curse in action. He locked the rear. He locked the rear, lost the car. You come sailing through, and not only do you come and take the win, you also take the championship. P2 wasn't enough for you, but P1 is all you needed to seal that championship. And yeah, what a race.
Always good. But yeah, it was a good race. Drivers' championships, all good. I'm happy to be the winner this time around. But I will be even happier if I will be able to win the constructors with my team.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately,
it's a bit impossible. But
yeah, Skamanis didn't have the best race, unfortunately. I think he went down to P10. You finished P1 in the end, so not a bad points haul. But obviously, Griffin Red P2 and P3. A good result for them for the points, but yeah, the race, such drama for you to take the win. I still can't believe it.
I spun twice, and after I did it the second time, I was like, yeah, GG.
Yeah, we
I'm
caught
happy where
both
I
of
am.
them. We caught both of them on stream. The car just looked so unstable through Copse. You went through Copse one lap, went wide, and then the next lap, you just 360-degree spin.
Oh, yeah, remember before we started stream and the race and everything, I told you I was very tired. That thing that you saw right there, we don't talk about it because it's called a skill issue. So, what can I say? Hopefully next time around I'll be more energized because I didn't sleep right this time. So,
well, maybe you're saying you're tired, but you've still won the championship. Fantastic job. You've done a real great job all season. Hats off to
Thank
you. It's a shocking way to win on the final lap. You're taking that position, but yeah, congratulations once again.
I would like to congratulate Carlos, my teammate, for getting some points because he hasn't had any practice. Well, not any, but compared to everyone else, he didn't. I'm glad he finished in the points.
Yeah, definitely. He did a pretty good race. He was involved in an incident. He went off the track on lap 2, so to get back up into the points is a pretty good job for him. And obviously, as you say, for the Constructors' Championship, I'm sure Younger will want every single point they can get.
Oh, definitely. I can only imagine how Max is thinking right now. Like,
anything?
Well, speaking of how Maxi might be thinking right now, obviously with that you have now won the Driver Championship, you have theoretically gotten yourself a free seat, or at least a free place down at Master Split for next season. How are you feeling about that?
well, I gotta buy a bucket because I'll be sweating loads more. Let's just say that. It's gonna be a lot harder in Master, obviously, but going against the best of the best is I can only hope for a podium by someone's misfortune or lack of attendance, maybe.
I mean, we'd love to see you there. You've done such a great job in Challenger all season. I'm sure you will do a very good job in Master.
I'd love to see a lot more drivers come to Trout as well. Hopefully next season you guys get luckier with this sort of stuff and more people stick.
Yeah, Master Split's always very busy, but unfortunately here in Challenger we did have the smaller grid last season. But as I said, if anyone wants to get involved, feel free to join. Tell your friends, you as well, Darian, tell your friends, get them involved here in Challenger Split, in Master Split. We would love to see them on track.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I bet you have other people to interview, probably. I mean, eventually someone's gonna show up. Maybe not for Challenger, but definitely Master.
Yeah, I think everyone's in a shock after the result there. But yeah, once again, congratulations. Thanks for the interview and a great job.
Thank you. No problem. I'll be watching Master and Forza Younger GP.
See you around.
Yeah, see you guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't actually look like anyone else wants an interview, and we'll just ask Case, who is your driver of the day? I know mine.
Well, if I've already forgotten the name. Hasselaar had finished the race, I think it would have definitely gone out to them. But unfortunately, they didn't. But I still think, despite their DNF, I'm not sure if you can give DNF drivers the day as well. I still think I'd go for them. But if not, I think I would definitely say, I think I'd have to give it to Ivan. You know, it's very unfortunate for his spin the last lap that made Darian the champion of the Drivers Championship. But I still think I'd go for Ivan, if not Hasselaar.
Yeah, actually, I was going to agree there. Maybe it's the controversial one. Chikloven's the one to win the championship. Chikloven takes the victory here, but I was going to say the same thing. Ivan, P2 in quali just behind Chikloven, gets the position in the strategy, stays in front. Chikloven makes 2 errors, and then unfortunately for Ivan, he just makes the 1, but it's enough that Darian was to go through. But I think Ivan is my driver of the day as well. He was, he did a pretty good job. Can't say he didn't put a foot wrong, because on that last lap, what cost him, but yeah, it was definitely a good race, and Ivan is my driver of the day. But Darian definitely did a very good job as well, and to take the win and the championship like that is fantastic. Anyway, yeah, no one else seems to want an interview, so I think this will be the end of the stream. Stick around for the Master Split race coming up shortly. I was Alex Cochran, joined by Case Wilhelms. Thank you very